Okay, so are we ready for another G.I. Joe classified unboxing? This one is Flint, who's one of my favorite characters. And if you're a fan of G.I. Joe, he's probably one of your favorite characters too, because he's a very popular character. Got some nice artwork of Flint here, which is very glossy, so I'm having a hard time really capturing it, but I'm sure you can find a shot of it somewhere on the internet. We see what it looks like. There's a nice pensive shot of him with his sidearm. And on the back here, we got the sort of, at this point, standard picture of, like, the whole G.I. Joe franchise. At least most of the figures that have been in this series so far. And a few that haven't been, like the Alley Vipers and the Trouble Bubbles, which hopefully we'll get to see the Trouble Bubbles. And some that, for some reason, are Target exclusives that they don't want to stock. Like Beachhead, who I would really like to have this Beachhead figure. If I could find him for less than $300 on Amazon, that would be nice. If somebody would actually put him on the shelves at Target, that would be really cool. Or apparently Major Blood, the same thing's going on with him. I don't know. It's like, do you want to actually sell stuff? Like, I was under the impression that the reason that you have store exclusives like that in the first place is because you want to get people into your stores, but they're not going to come into your stores if they can't find the product, if it's not there. So actually stock it, Target. Should be a no-brainer. I complain about this in every single G.I. Joe video that I do. So now I'm doing it holding a knife and probably looking like a psychopath. I'm not trying to be threatening. I'm just going to use this knife to open the action figure package. This is my handy-dandy X-Acto Knife, which all of you should be familiar with by now if you've watched the show on multiple occasions. And if you haven't, go back and watch some of those other videos. I've done a few G.I. Joe classified figures, and I've done a few Masters of the Universe Origins, and I've done some other stuff like some Marvel Legends and some DC figures. So go ahead and check those out. So I open the tape at the top, and the tray should just slide right out of here. And he's got the standard background that most of the G.I. Joe characters have in this line, as opposed to the Cobra ones or the Dreadnought one that Zartan has. You know, I hope they make more Dreadnought figures, because that would be really cool. And then we could have more of those backdrops, like do the main 3 Dreadnoughts at least, and probably Zorana, and God, does Zartan have any other siblings besides Zorana? I can't remember. I can't remember at all. Anyway, so I'm going to take out his accessories first, and you saw I already took out his sidearm, and here's his beret, which is a very important piece for Flint. He's not going to look like Flint if you don't have his beret. And then we got the shotgun here, and I want to take out all these accessories first, because I know, God bless Hasbro for not using the rubber bands and twist ties that I despise so much. But since they don't do that, the figures are always so deep within the packaging. He's in there really good. So I know I'm going to have to yank him out of this packaging. And I don't want the accessories to go flying all over the place. So I'll do that first. And he actually came out fairly easily. So that's good. And, oh, that reminds me. I have one other thing I wanted to do. And that's, I wanted to do some comparisons with Duke, because I know that these characters are going to share some parts in common, and I would like to see if I can see what those parts are. So there's Duke. He was one of the first wave, and I got him on Amazon for retail. I've gotten all of these that I bought on Amazon. I've managed to get them for retail. So be patient and try to get them for retail. Don't pay the scalpers any more than you have to. Let's see. So yeah, I don't think I was doing these reviews yet when I got Duke, so I might as well talk a little bit about him. I really like this figure. I thought they did a good job adding some modern elements to the character while still keeping the iconic look of Duke, with the rolled up sleeves and the tan jacket, and he's got the the little parachute jumpist wings on there, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they obviously took some liberties, like with shin armor, and he's got gloves, which the original Duke figure didn't have gloves. He's got the little red tabs on his epaulets, which is accurate to the cartoon, so I like that. But yeah, let's take a look at between him and Flint and see if we can figure out what all parts they have in common. And it looks like the boots are different. Flint does have a similar shin armor, but it's much smaller. We can see it's not quite as long. It doesn't quite reach up to the knee pads like it does on Duke. And the legs are pretty much the same. It looks like going up to the thighs. They're the same thighs. And they're painted differently. Like Flint's got camo on his pants. And Duke's are just plain olive drab. And the arms look like they're the same. You can even see the same piping on Flint's shoulders, where they colored the shoulders green on Duke. But it is just a solid black on Flint. And I can't tell if the torso is the same or not. It looks like... Is that a separate piece? I don't think that it's the same exact torso. It might be underneath the vest on the lower part, the same as on Duke here, but I can't tell. I don't know if that vest is going to be removable or not. Let's see. I'm not seeing any seams. I'm sure there's probably a way to remove it without destroying it, but I don't know what it is. I mean, obviously they got it on here without destroying it, but it just looks like one solid piece. I can't really tell where the seam is. Maybe somebody can spot it, even though I'm not able to. So he's got the same parachute wings that Duke has. The same paratrooper wings. And that suggests to me that maybe it is the same underneath. But there's a difference in that you can see that Duke has a white t-shirt underneath his jacket, and Flint does not have a white t-shirt underneath his shirt. Yeah, I think of Duke's as being a jacket and Flint's as being a shirt, even though it's the same mold. But, you know, I guess having the t-shirt on there kind of justifies it for me, because he's wearing a jacket over his shirt, and he's just wearing a shirt. So, yeah, there we go. I had heard somebody say that it's just a different collar, but it looks like it's one solid piece that's on there, so I don't know if... No, it's not. It's not, because this is a much harder plastic on this part of the torso than this part of the torso. So this actually is like a softer plastic here. So yeah, I'm guessing that's what it is like probably the whole torso is the same, except for like right underneath the shirt collar, where they have the t-shirt on Duke, and they have no t-shirt on Flint. And obviously the heads are different. The gloves appear... Sorry, I'm getting away from the camera. The gloves appear to be the same. The holster on his thigh is the same. Duke has a different web belt and a bandolier, which Flint does not have. Flint has kind of the iconic double belts like the original Flint figure had. And he does not have web gear like the original Flint figure had, where it says that kind of suspender-looking web gear. He instead has a flak vest, but they did include the signature shotgun shells on either side, and that does invoke the original Flint figure. Now, one thing that's missing from this that I notice is that he does not have the red epaulets like the original Flint figure had. So it doesn't quite have like that splash of color like the original figure had, but you can pretty easily paint that in yourself, I think. And I might do that myself. Hell, it's got this doodad on here. This, I don't know what it is, like some kind of like weird tech thing like they like to put on these classified figures. And it's got like a little blue dot on it. And I would think you could even make that a red dot, and that would accomplish pretty much the same thing. But let's go ahead and gear him. No, before I gear him up, let's take a look at his head, because he has a removable beret, and that's kind of interesting. They experimented with this on the 3 3/4 inch figures, but I suspect it's going to work out better on the 6 inch figure, because it is a little larger. And honestly, I thought the removable beret worked out pretty well on the 3 3/4 inch figure, but let's see how it works on this one. I really like this head sculpt. It's very sort of ruggedly handsome. It reminds me a lot of Frank Castle. Like, you know, if I didn't already have a pretty decent Punisher figure, I might be tempted to get another one of these and try to make a Punisher using this head. Like, I think that he looks a little bit like the guy who played Punisher on Netflix. You know, the guy from Walking Dead, John Burns, however you say that. He was in Wolf of Wall Street. He's a good actor. But yeah, he looks a little like him. Not exactly like him, but just like a little. Like similar but legally distinct. Alright, so before I move on from here, I wanted to make one other comparison, and that's that I wanted to compare the pistol that Flint comes with the pistol that Duke comes with, and they do indeed appear to be the same mold, but Flint's is solid color, and Duke's has a little bit of paint application at the top, but I guess they decided to save a little money with Flint's. So his is just solid dark gray. I got something stuck into my fingernail. I'm gonna get that out. It's probably really gross looking. Anyway, but yeah, it's again kind of a sci-fi looking weapon. Most of these weapons that these G.I. Joe classified figures come with are not real world weapons, and I've heard some people refer to them as Nerf guns. I'm sure some of them actually are based on Nerf guns, because it wouldn't surprise me. But like you can see, like there's some light blue markings on Duke's rifle, which will seem to indicate that it's some kind of laser rifle. And of course, anybody who's a fan of the 80s G.I. Joe cartoon can tell you that G.I. Joe fires blue lasers, since they weren't allowed to use actual bullets on the show. So that is pretty accurate, at least to that part of the lore. I would probably prefer to have real-world weapons. I would like for Duke to have, like, more of a standard army rifle, like, you know, you would see in real life. But, you know, there's ways that you can get that. Like, Marauder actually sells a lot of 6-inch weapons. And they've even upped their game since these G.I. Joe classified figures have been coming out. But if anybody from Marauder is watching, we really need an Uzi for Snake Eyes. And I know you guys make a fantastic Uzi for 3 3/4 inch figures. If you guys are watching, you know me. You know I've ordered, like, dozens of those things. And we could probably use some for 6-inch, since Snake Eyes does not have an Uzi. And that's kind of ridiculous. I think the fancier one that was like some kind of exclusive to someplace, that one came with an Uzi, but I couldn't afford that. I had to get the regular one. So, anyway, let's go ahead and put the beret on him and see how he looks with the beret. And make sure I get that on there as straight as possible. You want the tab to be like right above the eyebrow there, or actually right above that eyebrow. Sorry, I'm looking at myself in a mirror, so. So yeah, he looks really sharp with the beret. Now he really looks like Flint. This is a great expression on his face, too. He's just got, like, just kind of like a little bit of a smugness about him, just like that little bit of a smirk, just like the original figure had. So that's really cool. In fact, if I want to make it a little more accurate to the original figure, why don't I try to kind of cock his beret to the side a little bit? Let's see if we can do that. Yeah, now you're talking. Now, it's not made to go on there like that, so you can see it's kind of sticking off at the side in such a way where it shouldn't. But if you really wanted to get it on there, I think what you could do is maybe trim off a little bit of his hair and actually glue the beret on in that sort of lopsided manner, and then you would have like a really accurate vintage throwback of Flint. So that would be really cool. So let's get the... I'm going to put it back on there straight, though, because I don't want it to get knocked off accidentally. I'm pretty sure that's the way it's meant to go on there. So let's see how well Flint holds a shotgun. Actually, before I do that, let's go ahead and put the pistol into the holster, because I don't want to lose that. He does not have a backpack, and I'm sure some people will be disappointed in that, but I don't really care, because honestly, I don't really like the backpacks that have come with these figures anyway, for the most part. They don't really stay in the backs that well. Like, I think the backpack peg is too small for it to actually stick in there really well. It needs like a larger, more robust peg to hold the larger backpacks that are in scale with these 6-inch figures. But what he does have, in lieu of a backpack, and I actually think this is better, is he has this really cool sheath that you can put the shotgun into. Let's see how well that works. There we go. So he's got a place to store his weapons. And if there's one thing I like on really any action figure, but especially G.I. Joe, is I like for my G.I. Joes to be able to like carry all their weapons on their person at the same time. I like to have something like this where you can just have Flint who's just at ease and calm before the storm. He's not holding any weapons, but he's still got all of his armaments near him when he needs them. So let's see how well he holds the shotgun. I'm going to guess he holds the shotgun really well because, as you can see, Duke holds his rifle really well. So I don't see why Flint would be any different. So let's go ahead and put the shotgun in his hands and see how it looks. And I'm noticing, like, as I'm putting it on there, like a little bit of wobbliness from where there's this joint here. I'm going to show you that in a minute. But I really wanted to see how he looked holding the weapon. And this part is, I think, narrow enough that we can probably, if we open his hand up a little bit, just stretch his hand open, then he can grip the shotgun like so, and that looks really cool. It would have been nice if maybe they put a little bit of a pump handle on there. You know, kind of like how this weapon has like the additional handle for Duke to hold it like that. It might have been nice to have that on this gun too, but I'm not gonna split hairs on it. I'm not gonna consider that like a fail or anything like that. He's got like what looks like a couple little grenades on his belt there, so that's kind of cool. He's got some bullets on his belt. Of course, I already pointed out to you the shotgun shells. If I had a complaint about these shotgun shells, is that I think I probably would have again preferred for the shotgun shells. What is that? Shotgun shells I would have preferred to be instead of with the brass and black, I would have preferred brass and red, and I might even repaint them that way, because I think that would look a little better. Again, he needs just that little bit of red to really make the figure pop, and I think that's the one thing that this figure is missing that that the original Flint had, is just that little bit of red, just to give it just a little bit more flash. I think that would have been really sweet. The articulation is, of course, fantastic. Hasbro's been knocking out of the park with the articulation on these 6-inch figures. He's got double elbows, double knees, you know, ball joints everywhere. You could get this guy into pretty much any kind of military action adventure pose that you could want to get him into. Get him kind of almost peering down the sights of the shotgun. You don't really have to aim a shotgun. You just kind of pepper it everywhere. But but you know, it doesn't hurt. So it's been pointed out to me, and my friend Rudy, you've probably seen some of my videos that I do on his channel, where we just kind of BS about stuff. He already did a review of this, and hopefully I'm not just like repeating everything he said. Hopefully I'm contributing some original stuff. I don't want this to be like the Gus Van Sant Psycho of toy reviews, where I'm just shot-for-shot remake of his. But Shotgun actually opens up here. I think I alluded to that earlier. And you can see where, you know, there's even like a little bit of a detail there. I'm going to take it out of his hand for now. There's even like a little bit of a detail here that you can see, where you would actually put the shotgun shell. So that little black dot, it's not quite deep enough that you know, you can tell that, but obviously that's what that was there for. They probably just couldn't mold it to be deep enough like that. I don't know, maybe with the barrel in the front it looks fairly deep, so maybe they could have done it. I don't know. But in addition to being able to flick open like that, it also has the pump at the front, which you don't really need a shotgun to do both of these things. But, you know, whatever. I mean, I guess in a pinch, maybe he might want to do one or the other, and might be glad that he has that option. I don't know how that works. So, I was pretty excited to have this guy. I'd been checking on Amazon pretty frequently, looking for one of these at retail price, and he's been at about $30 for a while. And I was looking for him, and I was looking for Lady J, and I figured whichever one of those I see first, for retail price, I'm gonna snag it immediately. And it just so happened that Flint was the first one that I saw for retail price. But this morning I did see Lady J for retail price, so I went ahead and ordered one of her, and she should be here hopefully next week. So I'll be able to have them together, and Flint won't be such a lonely guy. So, do I recommend this figure? Of course I recommend this figure. It's one of the best G.I. Joe characters, and it's a fantastic representation of him. I think anybody would be really happy to have this figure in their collection. I can't see really anybody having any sort of qualms about this figure other than, you know, the slight nitpicky things I'd already mentioned, with maybe like having him be colored just a little slightly different here or there. But it's still a very satisfying action figure. And it does reuse a lot of parts from Duke, but I don't really have a problem with that, because they're all good parts, and they're all parts that work equally well for either character. Duke and Flint are both fairly similar characters, and they're both sort of that alpha male, boots on the ground kind of soldier. So I just kind of see Duke as being a little more Captain America, and Flint as being a little more Han Solo, if that makes any sense. But but yeah, it's a great figure. Anybody who's a fan of G.I. Joe is going to want to have this figure as a part of their collection, especially if they're collecting the 6-inch figures already. But even if you're not collecting the 6-inch figures, like Flint, I can see being one of those characters who are like, well, if I'm only going to buy one, I'm going to buy Flint, because he's a lot of people's favorite character. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this time. Please, if you're enjoying these videos, like and subscribe and all that kind of good YouTube-y stuff. I should have, hopefully this week, a couple of more Masters of the Universe Origins figures coming. According to the Amazon website, I'm scheduled to get Scareglow and the new version of Merman on Thursday. So that's the Lords of Power Merman. The one that looks like he looked on the back of the action figure package, which is how I prefer my Merman anyway. But yeah, and then hopefully next week I should have Lady J to review for you. And that's pretty much it for now. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a good week. Take care. Goodbye.